how to do a pour over. So for the first step, I would usually do is I would see if I have enough water for my pour over on the kettle and set the temperature to my desired temperature. With the stack kettle, it could usually hold the temperature for an hour. With the filter paper, usually I would like to use a dry filter paper when I'm brewing at home. I would like to fold the end of the filter paper and pinch it to form a cone shape like this. So fold towards you, form a cone shape like this. Fold the paper into the origami that will be brewing to the beans into the grinder, and we'll grind the beans to our settings that we have. After we have grind the beans, we will usually empty from the chamber. I will usually like to use a 15 gram for my pour overs. So I'm doing 2 pours, so I will empty it into this first origami that you see and empty the rest into the second origami. Usually I would like to do a half and half. Alright, this is 15 grams and the rest into that origami. Take a little. That's it. Close off my grinder. And I would like to do a little leveling before I start brewing. For today, we're gonna brew the Colombia wash from Haven Coffee based in Sydney. So as usual, for the grind size, what you guys would be wondering, it will be towards I would say a medium cost. For this grind size, I actually set my grinder, this is the 1Z Espresso J manual grinder, to about 2 rotations and 4.4 clicks to 5, but with it towards the 5, I did move a click finer, so it will be roughly closer to the EK 9 settings that I have at work. So with the grinders, for the grind size, what you can do is bring your grinder to work if you have, or to a certain grinder that you like the brew profile from. Tune the grinder to close to the size and have a feel with to compare it on your palm and see the grind settings. If it's close enough, that should be fine, because most of the grinders, like with the EK, they produce a more lighter furrow profile. So with this, I would choose closer to that settings, and once I tasted my coffee, I would do depending on how the coffee tastes like, I would do a notch finer or a notch coarser from there. This is how I started off. Alright, so now with 15, we should begin brewing. I would turn my scale to 0. I will bring my kettle. So with the brewing, we are doing 15 grams. The yield would be 2 to 5. So it's a Tetsuya method. So I will start the timer. For my initial pour for wash coffee, I like to make it sweeter, so I'll just roughly wet the beans to about less than 45 grams. I'll start with the second pour. With it slightly less than 45 grams, you will get a more sweeter cup coming from it. Next, we'll wait for the bloom. The bloom I will usually set at 35. It's just a way of consistency to how I brew my coffees in my workplace. So brewing coffee is just like latte art. Most of them are muscle memories, so I would usually brew them as close as possible to my workplace setting. So you'll want an even flow, just go around in circles, not too close to the wall. There will be a bypass if you go too close to the wall. So I would like to imagine a 50 cent coin, and I will just go to the 50-cent coin. My next pour, I will usually do around below 90. So I'm targeting at 90, but to be safe, I usually do slightly below 90. slightly above 90 is still okay for a house pour. Next, after one, usually I let it sit about 30 seconds for slower brewing coffees, and then I'll do my next pour to 135. So if you find your coffee, we are doing a 5 pour methods. If you find it too strong, you can actually either make it to coarse by one, depending on the strongness. If you find that the brew strength is too strong, you can make it actually a 4 pours. So today we are actually doing a side-by-side comparison with the server that we'll be using. So one is a fellow server and the other is just a normal server that I will use at home. What I find with the fellow Decalent 590 server is it brings up a more sweeter cup. So the variables are being the same, 93, plastic origami, and we are on to we have just finished our 4th pour, which is until 180. Now with the last pour, we'll do until 225. If you're finding that you're draining too slow, just keep it in the center. Imagine it's like a 5-cent coin. This will haze up the pouring drawdown time. Alright, now we have just done all our 5 pours at 225. So right now we're just going to wait for them to actually draw down. Depending on the barista, some of them will just take out in 3 minutes, but I usually let them I usually with the coarser grind settings that I'm doing, I actually let them draw down. And once this is drawn, I like to give it like maybe a few seconds for it to fully draw down before I stop the timer and take it off. Alright. So with the flat bed, what you can do when practicing at home is to try to keep the fines as close to the wall as possible. Try to keep it flat. So when I start pouring, most of my beds are like a donut. So this is where I try to practice a couple of pours, one pour each day to get this like you want to see a thin wall towards the wall. This is sort of an ideal bit, so do send me your photos and we will try to assess the coffee bit. If coffee is brewed, I would like to give it a swirl to mix it up, and I would like to assess the aroma before I drink it. Have fun in today's lesson. I can't wait forward to your brew bits. Hope this video is helpful and hope you guys enjoy a cup of coffee at home. For the more advanced brewers who had a Paragon at home, usually what I'll do is I'll do a chill extract for the first 2 pours. The first pour being from up to 45 grams and the second pour up to 90 grams. After that, I would move aside the Paragon ball and then do the next 3 pours, 180, 135 and up to 225 as per normal. Now for the filters of the Paragon, what we need to know is we will need to do a little cutting of the filter paper to make sure that it forms a V and drop straight down. The distance between the filter and the Paragon would be within 5 millimeters, not too far and not too close as well. We will want to make sure that the drip is flowing, or rather covering the whole ball rather than a certain side of the ball for the Paragon brewing method. For the coffees that I will use for Paragon, usually towards a geisha or towards more expensive side of coffees, varietals such as Hard Room or from the Panama regions.